Hey there, I'm going to be showing you some amazing crock pot recipes today that are perfect for any time of year, especially summer in my opinion. All of the meat that I am actually using in today's video is sponsored by my friends over at ButcherBox. Let me tell you a little bit more about them. ButcherBox is a meat delivery service and they source from farmers and fishermen who meet the highest standards for quality. And when I say high quality, I mean great tasting, 100% grass-fed and pasture-raised beef, free-range USDA certified organic chicken, heritage breed pork, and wild-caught seafood. You can trust that the high-quality meat that you are putting on your table each day is better for you and your family. Right now, through May 9th, ButcherBox is tossing in the Essentials Bundle to all new members. That means you will get chicken breast, pork chops, and ground beef added in for free to your first box. Plus shipping is always free. The site is super easy to use. You get to choose your box options and delivery frequencies to fit your needs, and you can cancel at any time without penalty. They offer 5 boxes for curated box options as well as the popular custom box, which is what I get, so I can have exactly what I want and what my family loves. Use the link in my description box to find out more about ButcherBox, but let's head to my kitchen and let's start cooking. To get us started off today, we are making these amazingly simple pork tacos. So to my slow cooker, I'm adding my pork tenderloin in. It's just a little under 1.5 pounds of that. To give it some flavor, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 teaspoon of some garlic powder. The remainder of the ingredients that you'll want to add in is just 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 1 white onion cut into thicker strips, and then 1 cup of some salsa verde. If you've never tried salsa verde before, I definitely recommend it. I think it has some great flavor, and if you're worried about it being spicy, I don't think it is too spicy at all. And then the last ingredient I'm adding in is just 10 ounces of some rotel. This will cook on low for about 6 to 7 hours, and after it is through cooking, you're just going to want to shred it up. I'm using my little shredder gadget right here just because it is so simple to shred meat with it, but here is the finished product. This made my house smell so good. I just topped mine with some sour cream, cherry tomatoes, lime, cilantro, jalapenos, and cheese, and then I served them in little tiny street taco tortillas. This recipe is so good. It's definitely a family favorite for sure. My husband keeps asking me to make this French onion pot roast, so now that's what we're making. I have 2 larger sized onions right here. I'm going to slice them thinly into rings just like this, and then I'll set them to the side. To make this unbeatable sauce for this recipe, in this medium-sized bowl, I just added 1 cup of beef broth, along with 3 teaspoons of minced garlic, 8 ounces of tomato sauce, 1/2 teaspoon of thyme, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and red wine vinegar. Whisk this mixture all together. Over to my crock pot, you're going to be adding 1/2 of the onions that we sliced up, along with 1/2 of that mixture that we just made up as well. And then I have my 2-pound chuck roast I'm adding in. You're going to want to season it with plenty of some salt and pepper on both sides of that chuck roast. And then the last things you're going to do is add the remainder of the onions on top along with the sauce. This will cook on low for about 8 hours. Now that my roast is through cooking, you could do one of 2 things. So you could serve it up how it is right now, but what I typically like to do is remove the roast to a separate plate along with the onions, and then I like to thicken the sauce up, so I add a cornstarch slurry in, which is 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water mixed together. I do have my crock pot on high at this point. I just added the cornstarch slurry in and I whisked it together, and then I did shred up the roast, and then I added the roast back in. I gave this a quick little stir, and this is going to cook for an additional 10 to 20 minutes or until the sauce is to the thickness that you like it to be. Here's the finished product. I just served this over a bed of some mashed potatoes with a side salad on the side. This meal is so good. I always find myself making it when we have guests over. I don't even know why. I guess I should say it's just one of my family's all-time favorite go-to meals. I think we could all shout hooray for some Frito Pies. I feel like I grew up on them. They're just so good. So in my pan right here, I have a pound of some ground beef. I added 1 diced up white onion to the ground beef, and now I'm just going to cook it completely through. Once the ground beef is cooked, remove any of the excess grease, and now I'm going to be adding in about 2 tablespoons of this taco seasoning mix with about a half a cup of some water, and then you are just going to stir it all together to combine. Hopping over to my crock pot, I'm adding 2 15-ounce cans of some mixed chili beans. You could use any type of chili beans you like, though. I just use the Great Value brand. 1 10-ounce can of Rotel, 8 ounces of some tomato sauce, and then you'll add in the ground beef and the onion mixture that we just made up on the stove. Stir everything to combine, and this will cook on low for about 5 to 6 hours. This Frito Pie chili mixture was making my house smell unbelievably good all day. It was definitely teaching me how to be patient. So now that it is cooked, I'm just going to assemble my Frito Pies. So I just put a bed of some Fritos on the bottom of my plate, put a few scoops of that chili, and then I topped it with some iceberg lettuce, jalapenos, cherry tomatoes, cilantro, cheese, and sour cream. But you could really make this Frito Pie your own by putting whatever toppings you would like on top. Here's the finished product. Like I said previously, this meal just brings me right back to my childhood. It is just so good. This is also one of the first meals that I started making when Will and I first got married. Now we're making some crocked out chicken, and it has very minimal ingredients. So to my 1 pound of chicken breast in my crock pot, I added 1/4 a cup of some chicken broth along with 8 ounces of some cream cheese and 2 tablespoons of some of this ranch seasoning mix. Cook this on low for 6 hours or until your chicken is completely cooked through, and then shred it up. Now I'm adding in 1/2 cup of some shredded Colby Jack cheese with 6 pieces of cooked crumbled bacon. Stir this all to combine, and then it's ready to serve. Today I served it in a hamburger bun with some steamed peas on the side, but when I don't serve it in a hamburger bun, I actually serve it over a bed of some egg noodles. Now we're making this creamy chicken noodle soup. You're going to want to begin by chopping up your vegetables, 4 stalks of celery, and then about 4 carrots that are larger. I normally chop up an onion to go along with this, but I was all out of onion on that particular day, so I skipped it. In my crock pot, I just added 1 pound of chicken breast along with the vegetables that we just cut up. The remainder of the ingredients I'm adding in before we get this cooking is about 3 teaspoons of minced garlic, 6 cups of chicken broth, a teaspoon of some salt and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of some thyme and basil. Give this a really good stir, and then cook this on low for about 6 hours. Now that my chicken's cooked, you are going to want to make your roux at this point. So I'm removing 2 cups of liquid in my crock pot. You do want to make sure you only get the liquid pretty much. So over to my pot, I just added 3 tablespoons of butter. Once it melted down, I added 1/3 a cup of flour, and I'm going to whisk it together until it becomes a nice golden color. You're going to now want to slowly add in your 2 cups of the broth from the crock pot. You do want to add it in slowly to ensure that it's not clumpy in the end. You know you're good to go when your roux looks something like this, so I just removed it from my stove and I'm going to pour it into my crock pot. Give it a really good stir, and then you'll want to add in your 1.5 cups of some uncooked penne pasta noodles. Give it one last stir, and this is going to cook on high for about 30 minutes or until your noodles are completely cooked. Now that my noodles are to the tenderness that I like them to be, I'm going to remove the chicken to a separate plate and shred it up. Add your shredded chicken back into your crock pot with 1 cup of some heavy whipping cream. Give this a really good stir, and then it is ready to serve. Here is my bowl of food. I just sprinkled this with some parsley. This creamy chicken noodle soup is delicious. If you didn't want to make it creamy though, you could add 7 cups of chicken broth in instead of the 6, and then don't make the roux, and then don't add the heavy whipping cream in the end, and then you'll have a typical chicken noodle soup. Either way you make it will come out delicious, and here's my cutie husband doing the dishes. That's a wrap of this video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you here, so go ahead and subscribe down below the video. I have plenty more crock-pot recipe videos on my channel, and don't forget that right now through May 9th, ButcherBox is throwing in the Essentials bundle to all new members, so you'll get the free chicken breast, pork chops, and ground beef. Just make sure you do click the link in my description box below to get to the ButcherBox website and put your email in once you get to their website. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.